Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. There we go. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hey, gang. What a weekend. What a day. October 14th. Less than a month out from an even bigger day. And more important, boom. 11:12 if you're on the East Coast. 1490 WWPR. 99.1 Atlanta WDJY. We're at the gym. That's right. I'm at one of our sponsors, Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Why? Why is my fat ass at the gym? Because it needs to be, one. And even though that's got nothing to do with it, there's still like a latency today. Anyway, today, Friday, well, first of all, Saturday, I'm online like I am every day, all day. And I get a message. Well, first of all, my internet goes out.
Wake up, goddammit!
Yeah, time for that. I get a message. My internet is out. And I'm like, it just came back on. So I'm thinking, I check for an outage. I check, did I pay the bill? All that's good. So now I'm just like,
First of all, what?
yeah, what?
What?
And I'm like, where's this coming from? Like, why do I not have basic internet? And why is this? So something with my mix is not letting me click on other things. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, I have no internet. It's Saturday. I have no internet. I start trying to reach out through the app by calling, doing whatever, to Frontier, who, by the way, even with this, I love. Their internet is so fast, so reliable, with this exception. And it's just so much heads and shoulders over the previous people who are now trying to get money from me from the LA account that they haven't touched in more than 3 years now, and from the previous account for their business account, which was not a good idea, here in Tampa. They didn't provide the services they were supposed to, so I'm not paying them the full amount. That's it. I all but own my house. I do own my minivan, which will be the Mastiff Media minivan soon enough. And there's no internet and nobody knows why. The modem or the mobile app says, and sorry I'm stuttering terribly, but I'm winging today's show because of all this. I have no app. I have no internet. The app comes back. The internet on the app says, or through the app says that there are no outages in my area. I'm thinking, yes, there are. You're also telling me that I'm paid up and I have a zero balance. Something's going on. So I do get customer service on the chat application on that same mobile app. And they're telling me there is an outage with port system. It's how you connect on different things, and so I do have an issue. It's through the port system, and turns out a neighbor had the same issue, but they were messaged when it came back, and I'm like, I can't even get online enough to message them, and so they tell me that there's a put. Just be careful, bud. Yeah. Come on in. Thank you. I'm actually at the front door of the gym, not just at the gym, because that's where their internet connection is. That's all the cable I've got to connect to the internet. Oh, next time we're bringing a longer cable and tape, so I can tape it up on top of the wall, go over the door. I don't have to. I'm sitting right smack in the front door. It's funny, but it's some port issue. We'll let you know when it's finished, when it's fixed. The neighbor across the and apparently I willed all this negativity because the guy across the street also has Frontier. He's telling me, "Oh yeah, it happened to me." They let me know when it was back up, and it was back up, and I'm good. That was like Saturday night, Sunday morning, something like that. And I'm still redoing my router, rebooting, unplugging, pulling the cable, all kinds of stuff. And Mars is checking in, and turns out I do finally hear back from them. They expect to have this rectified by October 15th at 10 p.m. Now, for those of you not with a calendar in front of your face every day, that's tomorrow. I'll have 2 shows in by then. And yeah, that's tomorrow. I have not slept. Oh, God. So I got shows to do. I mean, 2 tornadoes didn't keep me down. Or not tornadoes, hurricanes. Something like 26 tornadoes didn't keep me down. I can't let some technical difficulty, it's not even my fault, do it for them. So I start calling around, and I hit up Anthony, where I'm at now. I've been telling you come to this guy. I told you he hooked you up. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Jazz, you hear people like grunting in the background. I've told you, we're at a gym. You got to believe me. And I think Mars is here. Let's bring her out and say hello quick. Hey there.
Oh, what the fuck is going on?
I'm out of. I have no internet at home.
Wow.
So I'm calling. The first one I called, the one I knew that would hook me up, Anthony of Momentum Fitness and Wellness. I got to save that name 20 times because I'm sitting in their lobby right at the front door. I just had one of the members come in, and he's looking at me from outside, and I'm waving him in. Yeah, come in. He opens the door. He sees all kinds of wires right at his feet. Total fire hazard. Nothing legal about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he tips us and like, yeah, come on in. Thanks, bud. Don't worry about it. Come on in. Right as I'm talking to everybody, telling them how screwed up my week is starting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I still have no internet, and it's not expected to be repaired until 10 p.m. tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm going to have 2 shows in by then. And I was just telling everybody, I had a category 3 and 4 and whatever they were, and one was even a 5 at one point. That didn't keep me off the air.
Yeah.
For like the first part of that 1 week, but that fought back way sooner than I thought I would. I can't let this do it.
You seem to be having a lot of drama the last few weeks.
Oh, everybody is. I'm talking to my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling them, I'm building up and this, that, and the other. And they're like, how are you doing that? How are you affording that? And I'm like, I'm doing it.
They
and
don't
I'm
need to
not
know that.
asking for permission. I'm doing it. So, oh yeah. So I'm in the lobby. We got a
Mm-hmm.
show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to not have to bug him again tomorrow.
Who's that?
The county people were setting up in the parking lot, and they got one of those buses that they manage like a crisis from and whatever, which has internet. So now at least I got a little bit of time and go talk to somebody and say, "Hey, can I come over tomorrow's show is only an hour, thank God."
We can
And
start recording next week.
yeah, well, if I don't have internet, we can actually start recording this week and just not on Tuesday. If they come back on schedule by 10 p.m. tomorrow.
I mean, if you want.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't want to keep you waiting either. We have things we can do.
Mm-hmm. We
Oh,
have people who want to be guests on the show. Got to
yeah.
start scheduling them out.
Who do you got so far? Who's interested? Who wants to talk to my sorry ass?
They don't want to talk to you. They want to talk to me.
Oh well, okay. I'll sit there and smile.
You do that. Fix your
Show
hair.
my brown Florida teeth.
A couple of parents with children on the spectrum, a couple of people from the LGBTQ community. You know how I roll. Yeah. Yeah, Luna's sitting next to me. There's no school today. Jewish holiday. October is filled with Jewish holidays.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was wondering if you guys got hit with any of the weather that made it up that way at all, ever. No hurricane remnants.
No. Just some wind, but it's very slight. There's not a lot.
It's done. Yeah.
Even though they're anticipating that it's going to be colder this year for us here. But I don't know. No, get down. My cat's on the table. Get down. I don't know. I don't think that we're getting much of anything, which is good. You know, I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah.
But I just got back from the rheumatologist.
They took all her blood again.
She's a vampire now?
You hear the kid?
Yeah. She took all your blood again?
And they took all my blood. Every time I go, it's almost every 2 weeks now, they're taking 5 vials of blood. And they do not appreciate my sense of humor. Because when she said, we're going to send you for labs, I narrowed my eyes. I said, when? She says, today. I said, again? You just took blood 2 weeks ago. And she says, yeah, we've got to do this. We've got to check for, and then insert, random technical terms in this slot. And I said, do you guys worship Dracula? And she says, what? I said, it's like you see me coming. Oh, the Mexican is here. Get the lab ready so that we can take some of her blood to, provide our Lord and Savior. And it's because of my spicy Mexican blood. I get it. I get it. However, I was so annoyed. I was like, I mean, you just took blood. And then they're taking it from the other arm now. I was like, I just got a tattoo last year. I don't want you to start poking holes in that arm.
Oh. I can understand why they don't like you.
What are you talking about?
Your
Nobody
sense
likes
of
me.
humor.
I like you.
Luna's the only one who likes me.
I love you. You know that.
I know you love me. It doesn't mean you like me.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
But
Jackie Cooper on the Howard Stern show. There's in a fight with his kid. I love him, but I don't like him.
There you go. Yeah, so that's it. They're checking for, they finally said it is fibromyalgia. Like, I've known this forever. And now they're going to contact the pain management clinic, and I have to make an appointment with them. So I will be very busy with appointments. However, I am doing a party on the 26th.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the upcoming holiday, I take it.
What's that?
That's for the upcoming holiday, I take it.
Oh, yeah. But I'll be doing some the rest of the year too, because corporate events, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's. Also, someone wants me to do a birthday party soon, so we'll see. I was invited to do a wedding too. Let's see how that works out.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Remember not to see the D word.
What do you would?
Divorce.
Who cares? I have to say whatever comes to me. I can't just decide, well, I'm not going to tell this couple that they're only going to be married for 5 weeks. No, screw that. If it comes out, it comes out. Hey, are you sure this is the right decision for you? It's not too late to tear up the papers, I don't know.
It's not dry yet.
It's not dry yet. But that's what's happening here. Always getting
Good
validation. Good weekend. Did we have a good weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says we did.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm. I had my room over on Chatter on Saturday.
I gotta. Wait, you're switching to Chatter now altogether, or do you do both?
No, I still maintain a space on Clubhouse, but I'm enjoying the video feature on Chatter. So Saturday nights when we do karaoke, every once in a blue moon you can catch me on camera.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's great. We get some really interesting people in the space, but it's become more of a healing type of space because lots of people who say they can't sing come in. It's like, I don't sing, but you're giving me, the courage to do it. Like my friend Christopher started hanging out with us about a year ago, and he says, I don't know if I can do this. And all of a sudden he's singing and he's doing such a fantastic job. Yeah. So it's, we like to facilitate that type of space where anybody can come in, and should somebody try to troll them, I kick them out. You're not going to troll people in my room. They just started feeling comfortable.
Speaking of trolling and kicking out and what have you,
Okay.
I got a message from one of the Austins. I know there's more than one now. After Tuesday's event on Clubhouse.
What happened on Tuesday?
I think you were there for part of it.
Recap.
I got kicked off the stage of a former mentor of mine, John J. Wiley.
You really gonna shout him out right now?
For simply keeping things even. He says that he doesn't allow political discussion in that chat room, which I agree with. It doesn't need to be there. Mm-hmm. It's for podcasting.
Yeah.
Me as a political podcaster and radio host, I don't need to be talking about politics when I'm trying to learn how to develop my business. So this Johnny guy.
Which Johnny?
Ta-da! That
Johnny Pica?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cereal box Johnny or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Cracks. He's got to. He's got to tell everybody how his Christian group that was rescuing people throughout Hurricane Helene in like the Tennessee Valley was the first ones on scene to start doing these rescues.
That's just for clout. You know that.
Yeah. Like, who cares if you're the first one on scene? Let's be grateful for the fact that you're on scene.
Mm-hmm.
That you're doing something. Well, apparently, FEMA themselves, whoever it was from FEMA, did not appreciate such negative publicity through social media. And so they lit him up. And
really?
Well, I mean, first of all, I know as a fact, FEMA was already there.
Okay.
So I would have been kind of pissed too, especially because FEMA doesn't go there to say, hey, we're the first ones on the ground. Screw the state's National Guard. Screw anybody else. We deserve the pat on the back. That's not what FEMA does anymore. That was Katrina, Bush years, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So they light him up, and he's like, "Oh, you would have thought they were declaring war," or some comment like that. And John starts laughing, and I thought, you know what, that's fine. Let them have their little moment. But what really pissed me off was when John chimed in and said, "Yeah, they don't like it when you tell the truth." I'm like, "Oh, let me stop you right there."
Okay.
And just wanted to simply say about how DeSantis was in my driveway, and I took him for a tour of my whole property, and I showed him where Hurricane Idalia was, about a couple inches off the ground as far as flooding, and Hurricane Helene, a couple feet above the ground as far as flooding.
Okay.
And what damaged, what survived, that kind of thing. And he said, in my driveway, help is on the way. That was the last time I heard from the state of Florida.
What was this?
Simply the message I wanted to get out when we talk about not telling the truth as a state agency or federal or government agency in general. And he kept cutting me off. He kept sending me to the audience, so I couldn't speak at all. And Julie stuck up for me. She says, "Wait a minute. You did talk politics. And now he's got a different viewpoint. You've got to let that viewpoint out." And he pulled the same thing he pulled about 2 weeks ago. We were talking about marketing. And I want to say it was Mary Lou, but I'm not sure.
Mary Lynn from Breakfast
Mary
of Champions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He was wrong about something. Just flat out. And it had something to do with marketing. I don't remember the specifics. But somebody spoke up. And I want to say it was Mary Lynn, who is marketing. It's what that person does. And they just politely said, respectfully, "John, you're wrong. Here's why. Here's what it really is, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. We're finished. Thank you for listening." And he did the same thing. He wouldn't let them finish. And he just got so pissed off. He said, "This is my room." And he took his ball and went home. And I don't know if she was kicked out or if she quietly hit the quietly leave button. Whatever it was, they weren't there. And again, Julie stepped in and tried to say, "But John, this is what she does. She's a professional. She's talking."
Right.
He didn't want to hear it. And I just sat back and thought about it afterwards. Like, what has he really done that I either can't find somewhere else, or that just perhaps the usefulness of the relationship with that room has run its course?
Maybe that's all it is. I'm on the fence when it comes to this kind of conversation.
Yeah, I'm not expecting you to take a side at all.
I'm not taking a side.
I know. I knew that.
I don't like politics. Let's start with that.
Oh,
I don't discuss it. That's not my thing. You know that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to vote for myself.
You said that. Kind of like
I do it every year. I'm going to write my name on a ballot and make a big giant check next to it. I'm going to take markers with me so I can do it. Right there. I'm going to vote for me. For everything. I'm going to vote for me for everything. And
what if you actually done something?
What?
That one vote. What if nobody voted for like some minute position?
Like what?
And you just like a week before start a campaign, telling people, write me in.
Because honestly, I don't like politics. You know what? Let's do it here. Everyone who wants to vote for me, hit me up. I'll give you the correct spelling of my name, and you'll vote for me during the next election. For everything. Let's get a mom in the office. I will scold all those other,
Right. Yeah, I think there's some offices I might have to do that here in
Let's
Florida.
let's put them in timeout. I'm sorry, you want to do what? No, you're not bombing anybody. Timeout. Go into your corner. And when you've thought about what you've done, you've learned your lesson, then you can come out. That's, that's the approach I take. But, and of course, I'm totally joking. However,
Yeah, but I think we need a little bit of that.
it's a possibility. So I'm gonna vote for me. But let's say, getting back to the topic. I am not taking sides because I have personal relationships with all of you, each of you, in that space. And I think that it would be detrimental to me to say, well, I'm going to side with this person. I don't like that he pushed you down into the audience. I think that he should have just asked you, hey, we're done. And honestly, in his space, I think you should have been done.
And he's
So,
going to that.
Again, on the fence.
My pushback is going to be when you agreed with it, you let that person finish.
And I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. Now, here's the thing. You have a platform where you can talk about this.
I do.
And nobody can stop you. Let me tell you what happened this week. I talked to you about my
drama too.
Well, let's just my open mic room on a social audio app called Chatter. I have it every Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. Everyone is welcome. We call it the black sheep of the family check-in. But now it's called, open mic, sing with us. So anybody wants to sing, they can sing if they want to read a poem or do a comedy skit, or even a monologue. We give you a couple of minutes to do that. It's open space. We had someone come in who says that they were a recording artist. I have no reason not to believe them. Very kind person. I really like them. However, another guest in our room got the focus on the celebrity and started asking a bunch of questions, and I said no. And so the guest says, well, I just have a question. I said, but you're not doing that here. And then the celebrity said, no, Marcella's right. This is her space, and we're not going to do that here. And the guest continued, he persisted. And I said, I am telling you, the answer is no. I'm going to mute you. We're not doing that in this space. I need to get this back on track. We need to keep the vibe going. There are people here who want to sing. They want to talk. But we're not doing what you're doing. And then he says, can I ask my question? I said, no. So he left shortly after.
Yeah. And
I don't care what the topic was.
Follow up or whatever.
No. Let me finish.
I would have got it.
Let me finish.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to finish because I need you to understand where this comes from.
I was getting it. I thought you were finished, but go ahead.
No. I see this is, there's a method to my madness. Ross, you know this. Just bear with me. My autism brain, I have to take my time to express this. So we shut it down. I shut down the conversation because for me, it was putting a lot of focus on something that had nothing to do with our room. I'm not going to talk about what it was about, but it was still taking away attention from the topic. So a couple hours later, the celebrity comes back in and someone with stars in their eyes starts fawning over them. And, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And then, but text me. This was a co-host in my room. Text me to ask me if they could offer assistance to the celebrity to do something, to place something specific. And I shut them down. I said, no, because now we are taking time out of the room to focus on one person. And this room is about everyone here. We're not going to try to set this up and take more time so that person has a voice when everyone here should have a voice. If you're not prepared when you come into the room, no. So the co-host went over my head and asked the other person, the guest, if they could assist him with setting this up. And they both started talking about it. And I said, well, I need to get this back on track. There's still people waiting their turn to sing. We have a queue. It's about boundaries.
Yeah. Why would your co-host basically buck what you just said and what they should know is part of the
Because according to them, they wanted to honor this person for their singing talents. And I said, that's great. That is great. However, there are a lot of other people in the room who are waiting for us to hear them so we can acknowledge their talents, clap for them, or say, hey, great job. Oh, that was so brave of you. Whatever the case may be. Now you're focusing on a person who already is an established artist in the music industry.
So
And I am not going to take away.
Damn well, I've got to
Sorry?
ask. I've got to
I'm
ask.
not gonna name names here. You know I don't do that.
You knew I was going to ask. Damn it.
I know you were gonna ask, but I'm not doing that because I am not I just can't. I cannot do that.
Yeah, and I know that's what I love
So
about it.
so
People like that for who they are as that person, not who.
because I like everyone that was there. I genuinely like all of them, but I was not going to have my room railroaded twice for the same exact person.
That I agree. 100%.
Okay, so it's my space and it belongs to the people that I co-host with. So I just actually heard, and I made this person a co-host because I genuinely like them. But going forward, I actually reached out to them. I said, going forward, I cannot co-host you. I need to keep it the people who started this space with me years ago, because we have a certain vibe we like to project. And you fawning over one individual takes away from that vibe. We just cannot do that.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is it is about the boundaries. And if you are going to come in, and I'm not blaming you, all I'm saying is pick your battles when it comes to this particular group, which I guess you're not associating with at all anymore. Pick your battles. And if you don't like what they're saying, there is the leave quietly button. It is not your space. In your space, you can do the same thing. You can either shut them down, let them speak, whatever you feel like doing. You're not the same people. You're all going to be, you're all going to react differently, right?
Right.
So all I'm saying is this is why I cannot take sides, because as much as I love you and I love him.
I want to make sure that I was not expecting
I know.
For you to. Yeah,
I know that. Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is that I have to, but you wanted to know, and I'm looking at it from both sides, literally from both sides. You were in the right for speaking your mind. He was in the right for bringing back order to his room. And that person is an admin in that house, that other person. So
I sometimes am.
No. You're modded. You're not an admin in the house.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
There's the creator, and then there are the admins, and then there are the leaders, and you are none of those things there. You are given the mod badge because they respect you and because they appreciate your input and your, not just that, your your participation in the space. The way that I co-host certain people, because sometimes I just need the help. But at the same time, when I start to see that someone is out of hand, you either are back in the audience or don't come back to the room, period. So that's where I stand on that. And oh, look, last night somebody else brought drama to my table. Hey, someone was saying that you were up on the Chatter app cursing out a bunch of people. And I said, wait a minute, me? And she says, yeah. And I said, who said this to you? And they told me. And I said, why is she talking about me? And my first instinct was to reach out to this woman and tell her, we need to have a private conversation. And I could think of a shit ton of words to say to her in Spanish that she wouldn't understand, but would still make her feel like shit. And then I thought about it and I said, she's not worth my time.
Yeah.
But now I know she does not like me.
And that was the thing about with John. It's like, I think everybody knows, I mean, especially the way Julie stuck up for me, that, and it's pretty much the same people every week, give or take, numbers here or there.
Julie's very diplomatic.
Most of those people were there for the blow up a week or two prior to that with the marketing lady. And so I'm like, I'm not going to add to it. I tried to say I have my say. Is what it is, and when is the way it did. But I'm not going to let him marginalize me. And I'm not going to let him make fun, which is where the direction he took it, of the fact that I lost everything. And I had no help from his political party, who said they were going to help.
I get that too.
And that's not okay for him to think that's funny.
No, it's not okay for him to think that's funny.
And I think I got to thinking about one of the things he said. I don't know if you were in the room yet, but why that day was supposed to be how we as creators can use our different spaces to support people affected.
Yes. No, I didn't hear any of that. Here's the thing. I go in to support John Wiley.
Yeah.
I go in to support Julie. I see you in there. I want to hear what we are talking about because occasionally we'll talk about it on our segment, on our show. But the other person is a showboater.
What? Ta-da?
So
That guy?
I don't put any.
Yeah.
There's nothing there for me to say, wow, wow. That's it. Wow. And when you hear it from me, it's probably facetious. But
Yeah.
there's nothing there that I find interesting or pertinent to anything that I am doing. What he does is all for show. That is my personal opinion, but I don't
You
dislike
mean
him.
host / owner or the other
What?
guy?
The other guy.
You
No, not
mean
John. Not John. John is there to do business. He's there to talk podcasting. He's there to talk radio. John is there to help people out. That's what his mission is when he creates those rooms. Anybody else who pops in there, I listen very sparsely. I don't listen intently unless it's John or Julie, or if you're there, I try to listen when I'm not busy doing things.
right?
But to be quite honest with you, anybody else there, and it depends on the inflection. You're talking to a psychic right now, so I see more than I say. Sometimes somebody starts speaking and I leave because I just don't like the energy. I don't like the attitude. I don't like what comes from them. And that is my prerogative to leave.
Sure.
So the whole altercation, I think if you cannot sweep it under the rug, just drop it. Don't go back. But you're going to be salty about it for a while.
Yeah. No, I more let down than anything
I get it.
because I have seen what he can do, and I think he knows what he's talking about, except when he
Okay.
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay. But
And
everybody
so
thinks
I
they know
was
what
there.
they're
I
talking
was
about.
there not just support him to have another number, an additional body in his room, but to actually learn from him and to share with people what I've learned in 4 years of doing various stages of this at various levels and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a month from a month from today, November 14th, I'm going to be doing a presentation to podcasters on why they should also be going to terrestrial radio. I got that from John.
Okay.
I mean, to an
So
extent,
give him
not all of
kudos
those.
where you can.
Fine.
Give him, Russ, if you got something from him and you're utilizing him, give him the credit for it and then move on.
Yeah, but my point being is that who knows what I still could have learned from him
I don't know. Maybe time was up.
had all he done was keep some level of equality.
If it was important enough to both of you, you would reach out. But you're both very hard-headed, you're very strong-willed and opinionated, and neither one of you is going to reach out first because you don't care enough. So just move
Yeah,
on.
I was wondering that as well, actually. So I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
I may. I'd want to. I'd want to.
Okay.
But I want it to be. It's not like I'm going to write him an email and then post the email on Facebook.
Okay.
That's not the purpose of me reaching out.
Right.
My purpose of reaching out is to show at least what respect I had. Maybe he can learn from and not
You
lose.
really think that he's
Third
going to learn
time.
from this?
No, I don't. But
So this is,
I
I'm really,
preach.
Ross, who are you
Practice
talking to?
by taking the higher road.
Okay, but who are you talking to?
You or now or
Right now, who are you talking to?
you
Okay. Do you trust me?
and our audience.
Do you trust me?
Of course.
Why are you stressing about this so much? Let it go.
It was hurtful.
I know. Then that's where it is right there. It hurt you.
And not like, oh, I got shut down and not that
No, I know why it hurt you.
would be that disrespectful to somebody in the law enforcement community, to somebody that was one of his proteges, to anybody that, and even disrespectful to somebody who's there twice a week, every week to learn. And I went back and thought about it, to learn the handful of things that I've learned. You know, there's a lot of things that I will learn and relearn that he taught that I'm just not ready for yet. You know, I'm not fully capable of monetizing to his level on any social media because I don't have the following.
Right. And he grew his following over time, just like everyone else in his position. And, you know, not everyone gets an immediate, you know, gets those numbers immediately. Not everybody does that.
Oh,
That
I totally get that. I'm in this for a long haul, as a jog, as a marathon, as the Indy 500, not as a drag.
Good. So when you start getting sponsors, you can pay me.
We're getting there. I
know.
was pitching some businesses yesterday.
Good.
Yesterday or the day before.
Because I want Japanese shades behind me for my, you know, I don't want to put a backdrop anymore. Just putting it out there too.
Well, actually, I was in an interior decorating place. That's all like beach stuff.
No, I'm sending you the link to what I want. By the way, my birthday's coming. So's yours.
Yep. So it was mine. So it was Zach's.
When's Zach's?
Zach's is the 13th of November.
Mm-hmm. When are you again?
The 1st.
The 1st.
Yeah, I'm in 2 weeks. Oh,
God. Yeah, you are.
It was a Friday too.
So call me for your hour-long reading.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have some of it on the air that Friday. It's part. I'm doing a birthday show.
Do you want me to come on your show and read you?
Yeah.
I can do that. That's your birthday present. Yeah, no. I don't want a reading for my birthday. Putting out there to all the psychics that I know, I don't want a reading. No. I want to take Luna to Universal for our birthdays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Manifesting that trip for us, the two of us.
Nice. I'll see who I know.
Really? Okay, we need to talk offline then, because I want to stay on the property. I really want to treat her. She asks for so little.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
That I want to do something really special for her. She's turning 13.
Mm.
And I wanna enjoy her loving me as much as possible until she finally looks at me with those teenage eyes and goes, ew. She's laughing right now.
It's funny you say that because I saw something on Zach's Instagram.
What was it?
He's holding up one of those carts, the smoke things.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what exactly he said. Oh, Jane's asking for a link. I forget exactly what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the cart and the girlfriend healed me and saved me.
Wow.
And I'm like, really, dude? I don't adopt your ass. You're still in some group home now for people older than 18.
God, Ross. Okay, listen.
And he's a teenager. He doesn't mean it.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay that you feel that way. Yeah, of course it hurts. Look, it's okay that you feel that way, though. My daughter, we've always been estranged. I don't even see my grandchildren, and that's her choice. That's her choice. I'm not gonna trash her. She's a wonderful mother. What hurts is that I've noticed it. I've seen it for years before it happened, and I was basically there to take care of her. That's what she needed. She wanted the home, and once she was able to get out, she left, and that was it. My other children, I still see them. My daughter calls me twice a week to catch up, the one who moved away. My son comes over once a week for dinner. I still have 2 at home. And I remember, and every time I look up at my wall, it's a reminder. She made this beautiful collage for me. It's pictures of all of them when they were small, throughout the years, and I'm on there. And I remember when she first made it. That was my birthday present one year. She posted it on Facebook and said, a collage I made for someone's birthday. And I've actually mentioned it to her, and she says, I'm pretty sure I said I made this for Mom's birthday. I said, no, you didn't. Go look at your post. A collage I made for someone's birthday. She wrote someone's birthday. She didn't say I made this for my mom. Those things are hurtful.
Yeah.
But I cannot change her. I can just accept that, she did come from me. I know he did not come from you, but he is a product of his environment, how he grew up. And maybe right now he is in love and he feels that she brings him some kind of peace. You know what you did. And there's lots of people who know it. They know it. Unfortunately, we make these decisions as parents. We decide to bring a child into the world. We decide to adopt a child. We have to make those decisions. We're obligated to them because we decided for them. And they're going to act the way they act, and we just have to move on from it. We did our job. You're a great dad. If nobody else has said it to you, I'm telling you, you're a great dad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I got to take a break so I can go cry.
Okay, well, I'll hug you in February.
Well, yeah, hopefully. Let me look around with some of the people that I know up in Orlando and such and see what kind of packages there are.
Maybe I'll see you in December then. But
Awesome.
Before that, other than that, I will see you. I will hug you in February.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right,
I love
sweetie.
you.
Love you too. Thanks for jumping in.
Okay.
Marcella.com. Let me get this up. Why do I not have this on this one? I was
because there's no video.
What? No, I was at this right here. There we go.
There you go. Marcella.com. Thank you.
You go over to our profile. I don't have it on this one too because you visit this one too.
All right.
Good. Marcella.com is up next. I got to take a break. 99.1 WDJY 1490 and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. It's Yergs. I am online today, and we'll be back after this. I should probably be back on that profile then. I'll be back after this.
From iHeart Podcasts.
What the hell is going on in here?
Everyone has their limits.
I'd never confronted a situation like this.
The numbers were being inflated and lied about and conflated.
I just thought it was just a really terrible, immoral thing for him to do.
A line they won't cross.
I was stunned, and I just said to him, no.
We're killing people. What exactly are we doing here?
I remember him saying, in this 007 evil villain kind of way, this is the beginning of a process.
You may never have to face that decision. When you find yourself at that line,
Thoughts racing, hearts racing, emotions are all over the place.
They could be harassed, they could be imprisoned, they could be killed.
Somebody needs to just, for once, give everybody the whole truth.
I'm like, this is evil.
and the only person who can sound the alarm is you.
She folded it up, put it in her pantyhose, and walked out of the building.
Yeah, I really am the world's dumbest criminal.
These are the whistleblowers.
I wasn't just going to sit silently by.
I was told you take your questioning black self and get it on up out of my facility because you're trouble.
The message is, if you are disloyal, if you speak out, you will pay.
This is what it's like when the president decides he wants to destroy you.
Bad things are going to happen to him. You're anti-American. You are a disgrace to our country. He should be prosecuted.
When power corrupts, conscience is the last line of defense.
Is it ever too late to do the right thing?
We talk about institutions, but they're really about individual people.
The responsibility drops in everybody's lap.
I'm Miles Taylor. The Whistleblowers premieres Thursday, July 13th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
check out Miles Taylor and the Whistleblowers. I've referenced that plenty of times throughout Up the Middle, Both Sides Now, and Yerg's Tonight. He does an excellent job telling the stories of various people who blew the whistle on the Trump administration and their reasons why, personal and professional, as well as the consequences that these people paid to get the truth to the public. Check out the Whistleblowers on Apple, iHeart, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. The July date that he mentioned is from 2023, and season 1 is complete. It's excellent, and it's still very relevant, probably now more than ever. So I certainly recommend that you give it a look. See you again.
Is the only president in American history who has refused to guarantee the peaceful transfer of power.
Joe Biden.
He lost the election and he knew it.
To become the president.
He betrayed millions of Americans by telling them the election was stolen.
Stop the steal.
He ignored the rulings of dozens of courts. Rather than accept his defeat, he mobilized a mob to come to Washington and march on the Capitol. Then he watched on television while the mob attacked law enforcement, invaded the Capitol, and hunted the vice president. He refused for 3 hours to tell the mob to leave. There has never been a greater dereliction of duty by any president. Trump was warned repeatedly that his plans for January 6th were illegal. He didn't care, and today he celebrates those who attacked our Capitol. Donald Trump has proven he is unfit for office. Donald Trump is a risk America can never take again.
All right, so that's the wrong one. Keep that in the background. You want that beach body? You have one. You need to keep it. Does your internet crap out on you and you need to do a radio show? Well, go where I did. Go where I do. Go where I'm at right now. Momentum. Fitness and Wellness. Jasmine Estates, Bayonet Point, US 19, Pasco County. That's what's working for me. I'd love to get a workout here, but I'm already pushed. There we go. Yeah, so no internet, no problem. I just went to the gym. And that's what you need to do too. Come see Anthony. I've been coming here now, and now they've got this QR code on the front of the building. You don't even have to come in to sign up and become a member. You do it all from your phone. My entrance to the building is now on my phone. I don't have to keep worry about the key tag that I keep. None of that. It's all gone. All gone. Upgraded equipment, additional space, inside and out, plunge tanks, saunas. Definitely a new place. Something worthy of you being in. So get here, MomentumFitnessAndWellness.com, or just stop in and tell Anthony, and I see Jane. I see you. Yeah, speaking of Jane, let's bring Jane on. I think a couple of things on there, so let's turn that down. There we go. Momentum, Fitness and Wellness. Get here. All right, it's that time. 12:05. 99.1 WDJY and everything else, everybody else at the Massive Media Network. This is the day 99.1 is with us for 2 hours. And I'm connecting through my phone right now. Why? Because we do this thing where two of us. No, why is that? There we go. Hello there.
Hey. How are you? Oh my God. It's been a week and you're still alive. And you are broadcasting like crazy. Is that right? My gosh.
Yeah. The only shows we missed were right after the Friday of Helene.
You spent the worst of it at a bank?
Well, I spent the worst of it for me as far as damage at my friend's house in St. Pete, because that's when we get the flooding. That was Thursday night into Friday. I was back Friday by lunch. It was gone. I mean, it
Wow.
barely looked like it rained. But people were already ripping apart
No kidding.
things out on the front that they were going to demolish or throw out. And yeah, and now it's even worse. I mean, there's piles. I mean, mountains in people's front yards, as high as their one-story house.
Yeah.
That's how much stuff is lifted up and piled up and made space for because there's so much more coming out. It's not just furniture; it's drywall, it's interior wall, entire interior walls in some cases, and that's what we were talking about. You and I are planning on talking about some Facebook fights.
Okay. Yes. I mean, I just wanted to celebrate, first of all, just for a minute or so, that you're here, that
Yeah.
you are broadcasting, that you are safe, and that we here in the Northeast are, we've got bright sunshine and blue skies, but it's a drought situation. So we were kind of hoping we'd get some of the rain from your events, but that hasn't happened. Anyway, here you are. And it's
I am here. I am here, and here is Momentum Fitness and Wellness.
There
Not
you
in
go.
Studio Yerg's.
Yeah.
Saturday, my internet took a crap, and nobody's really been able to explain why. And I love Frontier Internet, so I'm not bad mouthing today. But nobody's been able to tell me what's actually wrong. Not that knowing that's going to fix anything, but it is at least going to give me an idea that it will help me try to figure out if they're going to be able to actually figure out what's wrong and fix it by the time I got to be on the air Monday morning.
Yeah. So you've moved locations, and here you are for the, for however long. Yeah. Yep. So it's, talk to me. I'm just I feel so powerless and so helpless relative to the election. I mean, what do you got for me?
Well, I think the media is doing their usual. There's no clear leader right now, blah, blah, blah. We're getting close. They're going to try to keep it close. I don't think it is close. I think the one thing in recent times that may bite Kamala a little bit is her attempt to insert herself more so into the whole situation of hurricanes and the weather in general and the disaster that it's created and the disaster areas that it's created.
What do you think her messaging is going forward in these last couple of weeks? I think she had to address the climate issues, the devastation, and so forth. But, moving on then, after we do due diligence with that, what should the messaging be going forward? I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's really taking hold.
I think it's one of those everybody's made up their minds. I think
I don't think they have. I don't think they have.
You don't think so?
I mean, I'm reading headlines about, the white men are returning back to Trump and white women are doing the same kind of thing. Do you see that?
I think that ranks with the that's nothing more than the surveys that are being taken constantly, supposedly, by the media, by these think tanks, by whoever does surveys, polling companies and whatever.
In order to stay relevant?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because everybody's still talking about 2020. J.D. Vance won't say that Trump lost the election.
Right.
And he's saying that there were issues.
Right.
So you don't like that election. You think there's issues. Okay. So what about the Republicans that were on the ballot in 2020 who maintained their seats or were newly elected or whatever? Same election. So you have problems with their victories as well then, yes?
Gotcha. Oh, they don't want.
Nobody wants to touch that.
Yeah.
And the press doesn't want to touch that because it would prove the fact that voters have smartened up. It's why I look at other factors. I'm floored with the amount of Harris people, just voters, no, not necessarily campaign people, but Harris people, Harris fans, trolling Trump people. And now I'm hearing blatant Trump people disagreeing with, and this is in conversations here, a lot of us got together and just, shot the poop at, the different areas for they call them comfort stations. It's where if you are staying at your house, but you have no air conditioning, you can go sit in a tent that's air conditioned. The only part of it that I've been using now is the laundry. I've been getting laundry done. It's a trailer that they bring in that's a small laundromat. Mm-hmm. And I get my laundry done. There was another one that was for showers. And a third for bathrooms. I've got a bathroom with a shower now. So, in fact, they've even got hot water back. So that's
fantastic.
Done. I just don't have the washer and dryer to do my own laundry. Or I'd be checking that box as well. So, it's an issue of what are you really wanting to look at when you decide where this is all going to be. And the other thing is, we took a new poll. Mm-hmm. Well, what's wrong with the one you took last week? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's outdated. Why'd you take it in the first place?
I know. It's true. You were going to talk about some of your Facebook issues.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of spawned. You said you were having the same deal.
Yeah.
You post and get some people trolling you.
Yep.
Mine was an actual exchange, kind of sort of in person, virtually in person, not just leave a post and come back later. I, for the past 6 months, 5-6 months, easy, maybe longer, was a member of a group on, 4 a.m. today. Been going every day. A social audio. There's social media, like you and I are using right now. There's also social audio, which I try to include via my phone, where you can just listen to another person, like our podcast usually is after being launched. Or in some cases, you can actually see them because they do have a camera feature. But it's a big chat room. And you can be let up onto the stage, which means chat too. Or you can be left in the audience, and all you can do in the audience is listen to less not as high quality.
Informed.
Less informed people too. That's clear, but less quality of audio.
Oh, okay.
Once on stage, your audio gets better. Miraculous. Okay. So I'm usually up on stage in this one. It's about podcasting and broadcasting, and this guy. The topic for the week was using your presence and influence to positively affect various communities with regards to Helene and Milton. And I think, why is he doing this? And it hit later. But there was another guy who's usually on stage too, and he was saying about how he joined his church and they went to one of the locations and they were the first ones there. So when I posted this on Facebook, like, that's something he should have been posting when he's supposed to be rescuing people. So when I posted this on Facebook, you would have thought I was declaring war on FEMA, the way they replied back to me. I'm like, yeah, because you're talking about a federal agency and pointing out that they are not the first on location, when in all actuality, they were. They were there. You missed it. And the owner of the room just kind of laughs and says, yeah, they don't like it when you tell the truth. I was walking the dog at the time, and I jumped on and said, let me stop you right there. I know this room isn't about politics, but since you two started, I'm going to even things out. And he didn't want to let me speak.
He would not?
No. I had to talk over him to tell him that Ron DeSantis, the governor of our state, was in my driveway telling me that help was on the way. That was the last thing I've seen from the state of Florida. And it got heated. I'm glad my mom wasn't there.
Can only imagine.
Lives. Because he continued to essentially make fun of the fact that I lost everything in Helene. And not, obviously I've got, one of my expensive mics here and so on. So apparently I didn't lose everything. But I have not slept in my bed since the Tuesday night before Helene because it's trashed. And I won't sleep in that bed ever again. And I took that. I was beyond offended by that. That someone, a mentor from the broadcasting community, from the law enforcement community, who's been teaching me for all these months, thinks that attitude is okay. And then he's telling me about, me stop using the F-bomb and stop being a child. Whoa. He's sending me off stage into the audience so I can't speak at all. He's the one kicking me out of the room altogether because once you send me off stage, I'll just go into the chat and type. Mm-hmm. You're not going to stop me. And so it got pretty heated. And I just sat back after the fact. I'm like, yeah, I would have loved to do 90% of the whole thing differently. But really, there's what I'd love to do and what needs to be done. And I think you may have liked the post I said, which actually was pseudo with regards to this incident, that ended with, you don't just fight, pick and choose your battles, but you fight the fights that need to be fought. And yeah, I'm going to lose this because I'm not going to have this mentor helping me throughout my career anymore. I'm not going to have him, for advice. But is it worth it to kiss his ass so he can, and his other buddy can have a little small circle jerk over busting the balls of the Biden administration, who, I don't care what any of these people think, is going to go down, whether they like it or not, in the top 20 easy of presidents that we've ever had. Political scientists already have him at 14, and he's unpopular.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough time. Very discouraging. I mean, my Facebook post, those people who I know to be pro MAGA, okay?
Yeah.
And there are a handful of them. For every meme I put in criticizing the MAGA movement, they need to come back and criticize, Biden and Harris and all that kind of stuff. But finally, I just said,
Seems
I've
fair.
had enough. I've had enough.
If we're going to go the tit for tat, and hopefully that turns into an actual intelligent debate.
Yep.
Right.
It's not. And so I just ended up deleting messages and blocking people for at least 30 days. That should keep me safe for a little while. I
Well,
just
I mean,
I can't deal with it anymore because they're not open. They're not going to change. And, what they confront me with is what I believe to be untruth, misinformation, deflection.
That's my question for you.
Okay, go.
Have you had an open mind? And have you done your own due diligence to really confirm
Depends on the issue.
that Trump's a piece of crap?
Have I done research to suggest that he's not a piece of crap? No.
No,
No. No.
But I gotta. We, as objectors to the MAGA movement, need to throw that back into each other's face and say, "Are we doing our job?" When I say
that's my problem today. I am not doing that anymore. I believe I have tried to debate the issues rationally. I believe I've provided information that, and I am not with each of the singular issues aside from climate change. I mean, I'm open to pieces of the other side on the economic plane, on the voter registration, on abortion. I can empathize with the other team, shall we say.
Yeah.
Climate change, no. But I'm at a point where I'm not open anymore. No, I'm not. I'm past that point. I think I've been pretty good up to this point, but not anymore. I just can't handle it.
Yeah, same here. I've been doing my homework.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to do it. I know how to see through the liberal media and the not news, right-wing news agencies who actually say that they're not news. I've been, and don't forget about the fact that for a lot of these things, I was there.
Right. You have.
And I hate playing that card, but I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So many, and that's why, when I really sit back and listen to the police that were at the Capitol on January 6th. That's whose voices really need to be heard now. And it's not being done.
Mm-mm.
And it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are going to vote based on what is being talked about.
Mm-hmm. Afraid so. And that's why I ask you, what should the message be between now and November the 5th? I mean, what should be the concentration?
We're not.
I love Tim Walz. I love Tim Walz.
He's really grown.
But his messages right now about baking cookies and recipes and so forth, I'm not sure are winning the demographic he needs to reach.
Yeah. And the other
And
thing, he
I
was
hate to say
labeled.
that, but
Well, no, he was labeled by the guys on Friday, on our Friday show, Matt and Blake. He looks like a guy who's been scolded and muffled.
I
This
believe
is a
so.
high school football coach who's very animate,
Yeah.
and he's up talking about. Apparently, he and Kamala disagreed on something, and the campaign came to him and spanked his pee and said, "You got to fix that."
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing some backpedaling,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just sitting there, just like, say, we disagree.
Yep.
That's why I'm here,
Yeah.
is to provide another viewpoint. That doesn't mean that when the president makes her decision, presuming she's further down the line, et cetera, that when then President Harris makes her decision, that I'm not going to support it, and I'm not going to do everything I can to make that a winning decision. But nobody says that. Kamala's the same way. She's changed her stance on fracking.
Mm-hmm.
She's changed her stance on this, that, and the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with saying I did my job?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I wasn't for fracking when I filled that form for, I think it was the ACLU. And I was a liberal Democrat in a liberal state of California. Now I'm representing all kinds of states to include the oil fracking state of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to rethink my position, because it's not my position, it's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't say that.
Yeah.
They try to deny or spin or whatever
Yeah.
else. Really? You know this is recorded, right?
Right. Right. Anyway, very discouraged am I. I mean,
thank you.
It's all for you, Bubba.
Thanks, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another shout out to Momentum Fitness and Wellness. You see it on the screen. My gym and the location of today's broadcast. That's the owner that just had to peace out for a minute. He said,
very good. Very good. Very good. So anyway, go ahead.
Specifics for, I know you're probably not the type to name names. I, on the other hand, have no problem doing that. But any specifics for like what memes did you post and so on and so forth? And what were they counting?
Yeah, one, as you know, I thought as clear, one side's talking about rationality and facts and statistics. The other guy is just breeding hate and misinformation. And that seems to be, from any and all places, to be as clear as possible. And yet it allowed my pro-MAGA people to jump in with all sorts of information about the border and all sorts of information about economics and all sorts of, past information about the 2020 election.
Which
so
I
they
think,
I think for them, it's really almost a template where I have an opportunity. Let me copy and paste what I've prepared,
I've been calling people out for that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who are just blindly copying and pasting.
Just blindly copying and pasting.
You agree with it.
Yeah. So
these are people that I ride jet skis with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are a lot of jet ski buddies down here are right-wing knuckleheads. And like I said, one of my more famous quotes that has made it into a TikTok video. You can be a Republican. You can be a conservative and not be an asshat.
Mm-hmm.
So many of these athletic jock types that think they know sports, but they got to go, dig the heels in and go double or nothing on Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Your team is young, and you're not going to make the playoffs this year. Learn have a good season, and get ready to come back next year. In this case, 2028. If having a Republican as opposed to a qualified candidate that can govern means that much to you, realize the Republican you got now ain't the good choice.
Mm-hmm.
And they just can't do it.
Nope. No. So,
for how long have you known some of the people that you blocked?
Well, one, a student in your era.
Oh, yeah.
Another for 20 some years, as long as Studio B has been, the Arts and Boyertown has been around. Bear Fever for over 20 years. Yeah. And I believe this one guy, I believe he might have been, present and active at January 6th. He may have been in prison. I believe he lost his marriage as a result of it. I don't know any of that for sure. But reading between the lines, it would appear that that may be the case. Former Marine. I guess they're never former.
Yeah, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the perfect double down situation that I keep talking about. Are those who are doing so without doing their homework, and with making this stance with zero humility.
Mm-hmm.
You want to support Donald Trump? Okay, support him. But I deserve to hear, if we're going to have any sort of conversation about this, then I deserve to hear you answer the question why you know better than General Milley and the entire Joint Chiefs.
Right.
Not one member of the Joint Chiefs will ever support him again. His own vice president doesn't support him. His current vice president candidate called him Hitler and an opiate to society, which, if you know anything about J.D. Vance's community that he represents in Ohio, not just the whole state, but particularly where he's from, opiates are a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when he calls him an opiate, he's not complimenting him.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, to be clear.
Yes, just to be perfectly clear. Yeah.
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 And not to mention that aside from those, 40 of the 44 cabinet members that served in the first Trump administration have said they will not endorse Trump. Who are you going to pick for your cabinet this time around? And he blatantly says it, that they're going to be yes men.
Mm-hmm.
And that he's going to try, he's never going to be able to do it, but he's going to try to eliminate civil service positions like mine because I don't agree with him.
Wow.
And I know that's going to happen because I was already investigated twice during his first administration for, quote unquote, not agreeing with him. So don't say, oh, he's just saying that. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
I can tell you as a fact, he's not. And that's another thing. I've testified in pretty much almost, not every, but at least at every level of courts in our judicial system, local, state, and federal. I've testified in courts that most of these people don't know exist. I know how to give an expert opinion. I know how to let an opposing side not rattle me in cross examination. But I know when I'm that witness, I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell you that his staffer, that was my counterpart at the inaugural ball that we did, says to me, "You think that's crazy? Wait till you see us in our second and third term."
Wow.
And I tell you, he's not joking, because I know how to read a person through my skills there, as a poker player, wherever. You weren't there, but you still want to tell me that I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
that I need to lighten up? No, you need to wake up. Being woke about the future of your country is a good thing. It's just Kamala Harris used the same word a couple of weeks ago that I'd been using, and was kind of flattering to hear her say it. It's fascinating, the people that still follow this guy. Like, it's that obvious. And John Kelly is another one. The former Marine general, 4-star general, chosen to be his Secretary of Homeland Security, moves from there to be the chief of staff, said, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. No.
Does something bad or does something bad? It just makes him better
Mm-hmm.
in their mind.
How many days do we have left?
Somebody's been counting that. We're less than 30 now because, let me see if I can pull one up here. Today's the 14th.
Okay. So we get to the 31st. So 17 plus 4, 21.
Yeah. Basically and it is. It's
3 weeks tomorrow. Yeah.
1, 2, yeah, it's 3 weeks from tomorrow is election day. And some states are voting already.
Well, my ballot has been received. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I'm not even going to say Harris supporters, because, I just talked to Mars before you were on, and she's voting for herself for president.
Okay.
But at least she's not voting for him.
Well, in a sense, she is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
That's
I also think you don't have that argument anymore, because that person is too at risk of thinking, okay, screw them, I'm going to vote for Trump.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you want to
Well,
sit this
yeah.
out, then sit it out.
Yep. And that's why I think that my responses on Facebook have to be other than political right now.
Well, but not only that, I'm thinking that if we show a support of Kamala Harris, which I'm still going to do, we all know that.
Yeah. Yes.
It's got to be a positive one.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not only going to have to identify with the people that Phil Repko pointed out, the people that have left the Trump train but haven't gotten back on,
Mm-hmm.
but also to the people that my dad points out, the people who might be talking a big pro-Trump game, but when it's just them and those levers inside the voting booth, or just that pen and paper, inside, at where, however it is your municipality, your jurisdiction votes, who knows what they're going to put on there.
Right. Well, in our area, Jill Denon, whom you know,
I do,
is has had some pretty sad stories lately about the responses she's received as she is going door to door talking to people. She's had some pretty nasty encounters that she wrote about with our with our group that meets usually on Monday afternoon. I was trying to find her latest message on the phone, but it's been brutal for her, and I feel really bad for her going door to door because she
What
likes to do that, and she goes just to say, do you have any questions? This is who I am. I'm here to answer questions. She's not being aggressive or or negative or whatever in her encounters with people. But what she reported was she could not believe how many women were cowering behind their husbands who all but spit in her face. So that's concerning.
Yeah, I'm floored at the amount of relationships I see like that are dominated by either side, by either sex, and that's like the other is like an employee, spouse. And like, no, that's why I got out of most of the relationships I was in. Was because I felt like I had to work for that person.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah.
Get any pay. And I was just, yeah. I just think our move, whether we identify as pro Harris outright or just anti Trump, is to, as my one boss from San Francisco said, stay positive. Keep the messages positive ones. Don't deny truth. You saw the Cheney commercial about Trump not being fit for duty. But I'm not saying don't tell the truth. But if he's going to jump up and down on, what was the thing? He just like trampled on stuffed animals or something, whatever. I don't know. Not just pick and choose our battles, but pick and choose our displays.
That's well said. Pick and choose your display.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've been pretty okay about that, pretty good about that, but I can feel that I get at the edge and then I've got to back off. So
yeah, because I just think we've got to continue with the positivity and the inclusiveness. So when that person does want to jump off the train, we're there to catch them.
Yep, we got to help them off the train.
Yeah. And welcomingly catch them.
Yep.
Forget about the "I told you so." We all know that's there.
Oh God, no, that never works. Yeah,
for us to say, "I told you so."
No, they know that already.
And I really do believe Phil said this. My dad said this. John Kelly said it. A bunch of people have said. I really do believe that's why they're digging their heels in even harder. Is because they can't admit that they've been hoodwinked by a professional hoodwinker.
Yeah.
What's so wrong with that? He's a liar. That's what he does. And he got you. You feel like crap. I'm trying to remember, we're still on the radio today. You feel like crap. But it is what it is. Pick yourself up. And they don't want to see that part. They don't want to pick that. They don't feel they need to be picked up.
No.
Is what I'm seeing and hearing. And I'm like, yeah.
And I guess there has to be some advantage. There has to be some benefit. Are they do they feel like they're going to be invited to be part of his staff?
That's one of the things that
I mean, what's the benefit?
Yeah. I laughed at that very question throughout my entire career. I would be at sites, and the staff counterpart that I would have for Republican or Democratic candidate would be of the opinion I need to kiss ass here and do really well, because then they're going to have me in some really important role in the White House. Like, this just shows how clueless you are. Those positions are already filled.
Mm-hmm.
You see these other staff members here that are coming in the motorcade? They're going to be the same ones coming in the motorcade when he or she is in office.
Mm-hmm.
So your chance to take that position goes with this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
You either get chosen for that higher position now during the campaign, or don't expect to see much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real kick in the teeth for them when you tell them that.
You would know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's Amy, our super fan?
Your super fan is doing fine. After we get off this broadcast, I need to pick her up, and we have a couple things to do together. So she's doing fine. Yeah, we met.
Yeah,
we watched the Phillies together. Sadly, last week.
Are they out now?
Missed their opportunity.
Yeah.
And then we watched Survivor with her and cousin Andy last week, which is always a fun thing to do. Okay. So, and her people, I think one of her people got voted off, which was she has only one. We pick at the beginning of the season who we think will win the $1 million, right? So she, one of her people got kicked off last week, so she has, I think, only one left.
Okay. That's one of the, you got to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I forget when he does it. You have to check the schedule. But one of the guys at Yerg's Radio does a show, one of which was last night. Mm-hmm. That coincides with Survivor. They watch Survivor together, and then they have like a post show.
Yeah, it's really kind of a fun thing. Yeah, yeah. The psychology, the human nature, the personality and characteristics and characters that surface during these, episodes is really, it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
Paul, did I ever tell you that Paul applied to be on Survivor back when it first? After the very first season, he just loved it so much. So he submitted an application and a videotape to be considered. Sadly, that was probably the second year of the series. Okay. Probably had the most applications ever. So, he missed his chance.
I would think so. Yeah.
But he would have loved to go.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole appeal of running around on an island naked
has no appeal to me. Yeah. But he sees himself, and I know, his go-to is to disagree with Jane, but he sees himself as a real student of human nature and feels that he really would have been able to figure out how to win. So good for him. I know it's not for me. I'd have been voted off immediately.
There was one that only made it like one, maybe two seasons.
Mm-hmm.
A classmate of mine was in. I don't know what network had it, but it was basically about, I think it was called The Mole.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was I don't know, 10 or 12 contestants that fancy themselves potential spies.
Ah.
And one of the contestants was a spy. It was a paid employee of the producers to be there. interacting with them. And when that person sold somebody out, it was because the producer told them to. It's, this person, and you're going to form an alliance, and then you're going to do this.
Yeah.
And then apparently the judges who were judging everyone's performance,
Uh-huh.
I don't think they knew who it was, because I remember them getting them dinging the guy pretty hard on something, and he just kind of like doesn't make a face but makes a face.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know I don't know if they told the at-home audience, this is the guy who's our mole kind of thing. But yeah, it was cool. One of the judges, like I said, was a classmate of mine from the Secret Service. Yeah, she left to go do bigger and better, and she was the law enforcement attaché or whatever, the spokesperson at CNN for a while. And then I don't know what else she went on to. She found a temporary job doing this. I guess she got an agent and said, hey, let's
I tell you what, I had one experience with a mole-like experience when I was teaching.
Yeah.
They had brought in someone from local law enforcement to pretend that he was a student. And he was in my class. And they brought him in order to try to figure out who was selling drugs in the school. And I can remember we were at a faculty meeting when it was announced that there was this mole, there was this person, and I was shocked. I can remember exclaiming out loud, "Oh my God, I can't believe that." I mean, I should have read the clues, in as much as he was very polite, did the work as he was asked to do, which was not the kind of student that operated in that particular general communications class as a senior at the high school. So
Right.
I should have read it. This is not typical. This is not usual. My students don't behave like this.
You needed some undercover lessons then?
What was that?
You needed some undercover lessons then?
Right. Anyway, it was a fascinating experience and very enlightening.
What agency was the student from?
I don't remember. I'm sorry. Too long ago. Yeah.
It would have had to have been while you were at the high school.
No. It was local law enforcement or county. I don't know. Something like that.
But I mean, they're going to be an 18-year-old student at the high school as opposed to a 14-year-old student at the junior high.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was the high school for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That was, what was it? Was that Johnny Depp's breakthrough role? 21 Jump Street?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. Sorry.
I think he played like a 20-year-old cop that was sent undercover inside a high school.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
And
a unique teaching experience. Yes.
Yeah. Cop that young in their career doesn't exactly know what they're doing. That's tough.
Yeah. I don't know if he was successful in identifying, the kingpin, as it were. I don't remember that either. But I know it was just a shock to me.
You remember Chris Schul?
I do.
Because I pointed him out.
I do.
Was a fan. He just mentioned somebody. I don't know how much we should talk about this on the air, so maybe I'll just have to tell you later. But somebody that's reappeared in his life from our class, who I think was held back during junior or senior high. So it was a class behind us after a little while. Has resurfaced, and he's just got concerns. Red flags.
Okay.
And I had some brilliant line about that too, about red flags. Something about when you see a red flag, it's usually waving.
Yes.
It's not just here's a sticking out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Usually some smoke behind that.
Exactly. Exactly. Meanwhile, Boyertown had a really busy weekend. There was the Pick Fest and Fall Festival at the park, and I'm in the process of putting together a little piece for photo essay, really,
Nice.
for those people who may have missed the entire weekend, to give them a little look at what they may have missed around town.
Cool. I'll check it out because I missed it.
Pardon me?
I said I'll check that out because I missed it.
Yes, you did miss it. Yeah, but it was, it was a beautiful, beautiful day, and the weather plays a major role, of course. And so people came out to hang around together and have a good time. It was good. It was
Very
good.
cool. And is that going to be in
The Expression? Yeah.
Expression? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See, yep. Put that there.
Yep. So meanwhile, I'm getting more proficient. I'm happy to tell you. I'm getting more proficient on my new platform where I record the Be Inspired podcast episodes.
Oh, nice.
Week, I know, I'm feeling really good about it. I'm feeling pretty good about the recording part, the saving part, and then moving it over to Spotify for scheduling. And I'm getting way more confident and quicker to do it. And I'm thrilled about that because I really do like it. Last week, I had a podcast conversation with my physical therapist, and that was fun to learn her journey from playing sports in high school to the assorted experiences she had as a physical therapist. So I enjoyed that one. And coming up, I'm having a conversation with a gentleman, one of three, who is committing to save the Boyertown pool. So I'm looking forward to that.
I was going to cover that story. I will cover that story.
Good.
About how they're trying to pseudo privatize between some of the contractor folks in town.
Exactly.
Donate material.
Yeah, just like they did with the baseball stadium and football stadium. Community people put their money and time into it.
And is the Y still looking to manage that?
I don't think so.
Oh,
but
really?
I think I will learn more as a result of my conversation with this young man.
Yeah. Let me know because
like I
said, we were covering that. I want to. Lots happened since then with like assassinations and so on. So
yeah.
The table it a little bit, but I'll definitely be getting back to that. Oh, some hotties coming.
And do you have plans to invite a Rain right now?
Yes.
To our program maybe next week.
Confirm that we were going to be here today. This was just an idea when you and I talked last time. Morning, guys. This was just an idea when we talked the last time. I didn't know that I was actually going to be able to pull this off.
Right.
Come to get on the air, but by next week, it damn well better be finished.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So,
but I think we're at 1:00, and so we'll be
lost,
cut off.
Atlanta, so we'll say bye. Yeah, we'll say bye to Atlanta. And bye to everybody else.
Okay.
So that's it for us this week.
All right. Well, have a good week. Stay safe. And and I'm Jane Stahl.
There you go. That's the one. And I'm yours.
And this can be both sides now.
All right, everybody. We'll see you
Take care.
Next week. Thanks.
All right.
The therapeutic episode.
Stay positive. I'll try.
Exactly. See you again.
Okay.